Another investigator admits defeat. "I'm done with this case," he says, voice trembling. "Whatever you did, whoever you are, I've never seen anything like it." You smile in the darkness, knowing he's the fourth one this month. They keep sending them. Seasoned ex-military, former FBI, private detectives who track Olympic athletes across continents. Yet one by one, these professionals crumble, haunted by what they discover. Some return their checks uncashed, others switch careers entirely. In the underworld of surveillance and tracking, your name has become a whispered warning. Not because you're dangerous, but because you're something they've never encountered before. Someone who turns their own game against them, leaving them questioning everything they thought they knew about their profession. They arrive prepared, notes in hand, equipment ready. They've tracked others before. This should be no different, but it is. The moment they set their sights on you, before they even begin their work, something shifts. It starts subtle, a strange stillness in the air, a prickle on the back of their neck, the sensation of being watched, though no one is there. At first, they ignore it. It's paranoia, they tell themselves, a side effect of working in the shadows for so long. So they press forward, they ask around, they check locations, they try to place you in a pattern, something logical, something predictable. That's when the unraveling begins. What should be simple turns complicated. What should be obvious turns obscure. They hear your name, but it carries weight, an unspoken warning behind every syllable. They follow your steps, but the path bends, twists, leads them nowhere. They push harder. And then, suddenly, they stop. Not because they found what they were looking for, not because they succeeded, but because something stopped them. A force, unseen, undeniable, presses into their chest, into their mind, into their very existence. It is not fear, it is not panic, it is something deeper. Recognition, an understanding that surpasses logic, a realization they cannot put into words. They lower their tools, close their notebooks, turn away, and when they return to the one who sent them, they all say the same thing: leave it alone. Not because they were scared, but because they saw something they were never meant to see. They come equipped with the best, state-of-the-art technology, infrared scans, behavioral analysis, predictive algorithms. They've tracked people before, ghosts in the system, those who don't want to be found. They've always succeeded. Then they meet you, and everything falls apart. It doesn't happen all at once. At first, their software stutters. Their trackers pick up locations that don't make sense. You were here, but not. They see your shadow, but can't confirm your presence. They run the data again. No errors, no logical reason for failure, just nothing. Their instincts scream at them to try harder, so they do. They expand the search. They pull footage from every angle. They analyze your steps, looking for a pattern. But there is no pattern. You don't move like someone avoiding them. You don't disappear like someone running. You just exist outside of their reach. The closer they try to get, the worse it becomes. It isn't that they can't see you. It's that their methods do not work on you, like trying to map the ocean with a matchstick, like trying to track a flame by catching the smoke. The more they push, the less they understand. Their instincts, honed through years of experience, start to betray them. They feel an invisible wall, a force field they can't define. Their tools don't malfunction, they reject you. It's as if the universe itself won't allow you to be measured, traced, or captured. They don't understand it, but they know one thing for certain. They were never meant to find you. The longer they watch you, the stronger it gets. Their hands grow unsteady. Their thoughts drift. They forget why they were even looking in the first place. They shake it off. Refocus. But it happens again. You do something simple. Walk through a room, look at your phone, take a deep breath. And yet, it feels as if the universe responds. They don't understand why, but their chest feels heavier. They hear something, not with their ears, but inside their mind. A whisper, a warning, a presence? They don't know. What they do know is that they came here to watch you. But now, they are the ones being watched. It doesn't make sense. It isn't logical, but they feel it. Your existence warps reality around you. They try to gather information, but it slips through their fingers. They try to remain distant, but something pulls them in. It's not fear, not danger, something else. Recognition. And suddenly, they are not the tracker, not the observer, not the hunter. They are the witness, and they were never meant to see what they just saw. Drop a comment. I am the end of their search. If every tracker, every hunter, every seeker halts at the edge of your existence, unable to go further, they return. But they are not the same. They were sent to track you, to gather information, to break down your movements, your habits, your presence into something small, something explainable. But now, they don't have an explanation. They barely have words. They sit before their employers, staring at a blank screen, a notepad untouched, the data they were supposed to collect, gone, the reports they were supposed to write, meaningless. What do they even say? How do you explain an encounter that wasn't physical but fundamental? How do you put into words the moment reality itself changed shape? They try, but every sentence feels wrong. Every attempt at rationality crumbles under the weight of what they experienced. They were supposed to document you, but instead, they became part of the story. Their reports don't read like intelligence briefings. They read like confessions. I don't know what happened. Something was there. I can't explain it, but they aren't normal. No, not normal. Something else. Some of them stop writing altogether. Some leave their jobs without warning. Some don't even return. Because tracking you wasn't just a mission, it was a message, and they received it, loud and clear. Your presence doesn't just repel threats. It rewrites people. They walk in thinking they're investigators. They walk out realizing they were never meant to interfere. And now, they don't just believe it. They know. They expect to be unnoticed. They expect to be in control. But you change the equation. The deeper they dig, the more the ground beneath them disappears. At first, they call it paranoia, but paranoia is fear of the unknown, and you are not unknown. You are undeniable. They think they are studying you. They don't realize they are being studied. Their methods, irrelevant. Their tactics, useless. You don't need to run. You don't need to hide. You exist outside of their reach, outside of their understanding. And yet, they feel you, not as a presence, but as a force. The further they go, the clearer it becomes. This was never about watching you. This was about what happens when they try. Because the real question was never, what are you doing? It was, why are you still untouched? And by the time, they realize the answer. They are the ones looking over their shoulders. They are the ones trying to disappear. Because you don't just evade pursuit, you turn the hunters into the hunted. They think they're making the first move, that the decision to track you is theirs, that their strategy, their timing, their approach is calculated. They don't realize you already knew. Before they gathered intelligence, you had already dismantled it. Before they took their first step, you had already blocked every road. Before they even spoke your name, you had already silenced the conversation. You don't just react, you anticipate. The moment the thought enters their mind, before the plan is set in motion, before the first order is given, something shifts. Their plans dissolve without warning. Their methods fail before they even begin. Their entire approach becomes obsolete, and they don't know why. How can they fight what they don't understand? How can they prepare for something they can't detect? You are not just ahead of them. You are operating on a level they cannot comprehend. This isn't instinct. This isn't luck. This is precision. You don't wait for their moves. You see them before they happen. It's a game they never had a chance of winning. They strategize. You already saw the outcome. They prepare. You already closed the door. They try again, but before they can even begin, their mission is neutralized. Not because you fought back, not because you resisted, because you never needed to. They don't understand how you stay ahead, how every attempt to track you leads to nothing. It isn't just avoidance, it isn't just evasion. It's something far more advanced. You move from a realm of quantum precognition. You see before they look. You know before they plan. And before they even take their first step. They've already lost. Stop right there. Yes, you. This message isn't for everyone, and if you don't feel it, that's fine. Move along. But if you've felt it, deep in your bones, you'll know this is for you. The ones who don't fit in. The ones who see beyond the veil. The ones who've been told to stay quiet, to settle, to conform, but never could. They aren't interested in what's ordinary. They aren't here to follow someone else's rules. They're the light in the dark, the storm that shatters illusions, the unshakable, the unstoppable, the untouchable. While the world is busy running circles, they're walking their own path, alone if they must. Not for the applause, not for the approval, but because it's who they are. Here's to the ones who take what was meant to destroy them and transform it into something divine. The ones who carry wisdom that can't be taught, only earned. If this resonates with you, then maybe it's time to find your people. The Obsidian Inner Order is the only place of its kind, the #1 ascension nexus for chosen ones, where over 400 of us gather to share wisdom, connect, and transform. No masks, no games, just truth. The link is in the description. If you're ready, you'll know where to find us. If not, that's fine too. The choice is yours. You don't move alone. You don't stand unguarded. The protection around you isn't a theory. It isn't a belief. It isn't luck. It's active intelligence, a force that moves with precision, shutting down threats before they can reach you. They think they can track you, that their plans will unfold as intended, but something keeps stopping them. Their technology malfunctions. Their signals drop. Their equipment dies at the worst possible moment. They reroute, try again, only to be met with another setback. A sudden roadblock, a miscommunication, a funding issue that wasn't there yesterday. Every attempt to push forward unravels. It isn't coincidence. It isn't resistance. It's intervention. You are not just protected. You are shielded by something unseen, something incomprehensible. They don't know what to call it. Fate, energy, some unseen force rewriting their outcomes. They don't realize it isn't abstract. It is precise. The moment they set their eyes on you, the moment they think they have a strategy, the very fabric of their plan begins to crumble. They try to push past it, ignoring the signs, forcing their way forward. But the harder they push, the more violently the doors slam shut. People they trusted start questioning them. Doubt creeps into their minds. Some even walk away completely, unable to explain why. And you? You do nothing. You don't fight back. You don't need to, because the forces around you have already decided the outcome. By the time they realize what's happening, by the time they start questioning the impossible failures stacking up against them, it's already over. They were never going to reach you. They were never meant to. You don't run. You don't hide. You don't need to. They try to track you, thinking they can pin you down, thinking they can place you inside a system that makes sense. But you don't exist inside their framework. To them, you are both present and absent, seen and unseen, everywhere and nowhere. They expect a chase. But there is no pursuit, because they cannot catch what they cannot define. They scan for you, comb through files, analyze movement. And yet, your existence flickers like a mirage. One moment, you're in the records. The next, it's as if you were never there. One moment, they're sure they've got you. The next, you slip through their grasp like smoke. They think they lost you. They don't realize they never had you to begin with. Because you don't evade them. You override them. Your energy is fluid, shifting between realms of perception. To those meant to see you, you shine, a beacon, a force, an undeniable presence. But to those who seek to track you, to map you, to reduce you to something small and measurable, you vanish. Their own eyes betray them. Their own systems reject them. They watch footage over and over, convinced you were there, convinced they saw you. But there is nothing. It isn't magic. It isn't deception. It is truth. Because you are not a target. You are not a fixed point on a map. You are a paradox. Unreachable, untraceable, unstoppable. And no matter how hard they try, they will never see what was never meant for them. They think they can watch you. They think they can study you. They think their intent will reach you. But you don't block them. You don't fight their surveillance. You don't resist their attention. Instead, you redirect it. The moment they set their focus on you, something shifts. Their thoughts scatter. Their motives blur. Their reason for tracking you begins to change. It isn't instant. At first, they believe they're in control. They take notes, run analysis, attempt to build a picture of who you are. But the deeper they go, the more lost they become. Because every effort to intrude on your world becomes an experience for them. Every thought they have of you reflects back onto themselves. Every plan they create unravels into questions they never expected to ask. Why are they doing this? Why does this feel different? Why does their mission no longer make sense? They try to push through, to regain focus, to hold on to the objective they were given. But something inside them changes. Their intent fractures. The need to spy on you turns into the need to understand you. The need to control you turns into the need to reflect on themselves. They think they came to uncover your truth. They don't realize you revealed their own. Because you are not an object of surveillance, you are a mirror. And by the time they look away, they are no longer the same person who started watching. You didn't need to fight them. You didn't need to block them, because intrusion never reached you. It became illusion. They won't stop. The one behind all of this, the one pulling the strings, the one who keeps sending people after you. They have resources, they have power, they have control, or at least they think they do. They believe everything, everyone can be tracked. That if they throw enough money, enough people, enough force into watching you, someone will bring them an answer. But no matter how many they send, no matter how much effort they put in, it always ends the same way. They wait for reports, for confirmations, for proof. But what they get instead is silence. Or worse, confusion. One by one, the trackers come back, not victorious, not triumphant, shaken. They sit down to explain, but the words don't come. They try to describe what happened, but all they have are contradictions. We lost track of them. They were there, and then they weren't. I don't know how to explain it, but we couldn't touch them. It's bigger than us. And that answer, that truth, infuriates the one who sent them, because they refuse to accept it. They refuse to believe that you are beyond their reach. So they send more. They double the resources. They change their tactics. And yet, every single time, the same result. Nothing. They think they're dealing with an illusion. They think they just need a better team. They don't understand that this isn't about strategy. It's about you. You are not avoiding them. You are not resisting them. You exist beyond their control. They will never have an answer. They will never have a report that makes sense. And the more they try, the more they fail, because you are not part of their system. And no amount of power or money will ever change that. At some point, they stop trying. Not because they've succeeded, not because they've found you, but because the very idea of tracking you becomes meaningless. You are beyond them, beyond their systems, beyond their comprehension. They design tools to find people, but you are not just a person. You are a force. They created methods to capture movement, but you don't just move. You transcend. No data can measure you. No algorithm can predict you. No blueprint can map you, because you don't exist within their framework. You are not hiding. You are not running, you are simply untouchable. At first, they refused to believe it. They told themselves they just needed more time, more resources, more advanced technology. But nothing worked, because you are not something to be pursued, you are something to be witnessed. And only those meant to see you will. To them, you are a myth, a whisper, a force they cannot name. To the world, you are an anomaly, everywhere and nowhere, both present and absent. They cannot track what does not exist in their dimension. They cannot follow what moves between realms, and they cannot capture what will never be confined. You are sovereign, unbound, unshaken. Not because you fight to stay hidden, but because you were never meant to be caught. You move through the world untouched, untraceable, not by chance. By design. They hire them, one after another, professionals, hunters, trackers, the best. They come for you, silent, relentless, prepared, but they all stop. They all return. Eyes hollow, voices low. They say the same thing, every time. I saw it. I felt it. I won't go back. No details, no explanations, just fear, raw, unshakable. You don't run, you don't hide, yet they can't touch you, can't reach you. Something stops them, something you don't even see, something they won't describe. Why do they keep trying? Why do they keep sending them? Because you're different. You're not like the others. You're not like anyone. And they need to know why, but they can't. They won't. Because whatever's around you, whatever's in you, won't let them. Have you felt it? That shift, that pull, that invisible line they can't cross. Tell everyone what you know. Tell everyone what you've seen, or don't. But they'll keep coming, and they'll keep failing. Because you're not theirs to find, not theirs to understand, not theirs to claim. Comment below, share your story, or keep it to yourself. But know this, they're watching.